What's up, everybody? I am Olivia Lemon, the Main Squeeze, reporting here on Main Squeeze Media. If you are watching this video on YouTube, you need to go ahead and like and subscribe to my channel. And if you are watching this video on Instagram, what's up, everybody? Okay, so this is a video that is long overdue, and we are talking about my review on, I would say, probably one of the best Pixar Disney movies out, and we'll probably go down in history. For sure, we'll go down in history. Pixar's Soul, starring Jamie Foxx, that came out a couple of weeks ago. Well, really last year on Christmas Day. It was supposed to come out in theaters, but of course, with COVID and just worrying about the turnout of people wanting to go to the theaters, which I have went to the theaters. If you guys see my movie review on Fatal, then you will know that I went to the theaters and it was very safe and I enjoyed because I just love going to the movies. But anyways, back on track. So they actually released it on Disney Plus. I went ahead, spent that little coin to watch Soul on Disney Plus. I did not have it before, but I do have it now. So I'm just catching up on all the old shows I used to watch when I was younger. Of course, Cheetah Girls will go down in history, period. But yeah, so this is my review on Pixar's Soul. First of all, I just want to say that this was truly a piece of art. I am a type of person that I can just watch stuff. I might not have a interest in it, just watching the previews or whatever, but I'm a big supporter. So it's like, okay, Jamie Foxx in this movie, I gotta support. I have a soft spot in my heart for Pixar, Disney, so I love checking out their movies. I love watching Easter eggs about them, theories. So it was just gonna be the support from the beginning. But this movie blew my mind, okay? So the movie starts off with a man, Joe. He loves jazz. He's teaching band in like a middle school or something. And it starts off with them giving him a full-time offer. So, usually when you get that full-time offer, it's like, okay, I'm getting my coins. But Joe was not having it or whatever. Joe, his passion was music and jazz, and he wanted to be, playing the piano for the big leagues. And there's this woman who is played by Angela Bassett, and she is kind of like the legend in the jazz industry. That's who he wants to play with. So he gets that opportunity to do it, and he has an old student who says, hey, we need a piano player. Can you please come by? So it's like everything is falling in line for him. And he has a mom who's on his back all the time. It's like, okay, you need to get you a real job. Dreams do not always happen. Like, you need to get on your grown man stuff. But, now that he has this jazz opportunity lined up, it's like, okay, his dreams are coming into place. So seeing that, I was like, this was like, it's going to be a perfect movie. Where it's going to be, where's the plot going to be, where's the wow factor going to be? Because when we think about dreams and stuff, and when we think about that one dream that we just have to have, that one job, and when we finally get it, you really think in your mind like, okay, boom, I made it. So for me, when I watched it, I was like, okay, Joe, you made it. In the midst of him being excited for this, he falls in a oh my God, what are those? The things that are in the middle of the street, right? The middle of the street, the circle things that they do construction on. I don't know why I want to call it a septic tank. I know that's not it. But he falls in that and he dies. To me. Well, he goes into a coma. But a coma is, kind of close in death. So, from watching that, I talked to a couple of friends who watched the movie, and they, from the beginning, I think that was like the start where they were like, I don't know if this is, for kids or something. But as we get into it, I felt like that this was a movie that definitely kids could watch. It probably opened up the door about having to explain death to your child. But the way that they broke it down was very, I feel like it was very childlike. And it kind of made death not as scary. And I don't know if it's scary for y'all, but it made it kind of like, okay, this is what happens. So Joe is in a coma, and he finds himself in this out of body world. He seems, I seen a lot of theory videos that talked about, we associate death with light. So there's this big light. He sees people walking up it, and he just does not know what is going on. So he meets people, I forgot their names, but he meets them, and they basically, said this is the afterlife. Joe was not having that at all. So from that moment, watching that, I kind of like resonated with that, because it's like, we all know that there's going to be a time that we have to leave, but it made me think like, wow, like what if you have to leave this earth before, you get those dreams that you wanted and you worked so hard for. And Joe was right there close to his dream, and now my boy is in a coma. Like, what is going on? So he ends up getting out of that, and he goes to the great beyond, the great before, the before. I'm just gonna call it the before, because this video is overdue, so I was supposed to have been through this. So I'm trying to remember everything correctly, but he calls it the great before. I mean, it's the great before, and he gets there. He meets a whole bunch of Jerrys. So I would say that these Jerrys are kind of like life coaches. And you see different, I'm just going to call them babies, because they're not really born yet. They're not on Earth yet. You see them going to different ways. They're getting their personalities before they hit Earth. So you have some personalities that are happy. That was one that was like self-centered, conceited. And I feel like that was very cool. That was very childlike. And you can explain it to your child. And it really made me feel like, okay, what if this does happen? This kind of cool way to say, how does everybody get their personality and things, and how they get their characteristics. So he is still not accepting that he is pretty much borderline dead. He's still in a coma in the hospital on Earth in New York, but he's dead. And so he's still somebody Patch. And it's this like older white man, which looks nothing like Joe. He's a therapist, and he goes to be a mentor. So the mentors in the movie are like people who, before they go to the afterlife, they can just mentor people who are in the great before. And a lot of times you'll see that those people that they mentor kind of enjoy the same things that they do. They have their spark. So in order to get your spark before you go to Earth, but everybody has to have their spark before they hit Earth. Something that they're good at, as we think, and something that you like, whatever. So I also felt watching that was really cool too, because a lot of times we say, I feel like that person acts like my mom, or, we say that people have souls that come back in a different life. So seeing that really made me think like, okay, if you have somebody that's mentoring you that might have been your mom that passed away, and now she comes back, she has a lot of characteristics that your child has, it's like, okay, I love the way they did it. And that's why I say that this movie, you can kind of break down death in a child way or whatever. So Joe goes to be a mentor. Remind you, he has the wrong person's badge. So all his life that he is seeing is what the therapist did in his life. And there is this girl named 22, which means she was like the 22 person in the world. And nobody has been able to mentor her. It's been people like Abraham Lincoln, Muhammad Ali, and she is just horrible. And this girl is scared of life. That's what it all boils down to. She is scared of life. So he tries to help her just so he can get back to Earth. But what they really learn in each other is that, your spark is not, and I'm kind of jumping ahead too, because it's a lot of spoilers in here. But, I mean, the movie came out on December 25th. You should have been watched it, duh. But what they kind of learn in one another is that 22 is scared of life, and Joe has had this life, but he has really been scared to be just out in the open and just enjoyful of life. His passion and his dream has really stopped him from experiencing life because that's the only thing he has boiled his life down to be. Like, that's it. And as they go back to Earth and they accidentally switch bodies, Joe ends up being a cat and 22 becomes Joe, you'll see how they kind of intertwine into the streets of New York and how Joe is able to see himself from a different light, being that 22 is himself, and he has to try to make 22 act like him, but he's able to see how he really has not been living life. So then you ask yourself the question, like, I'm thinking, okay, this is a great movie, but I mean, your spark is really your passion. Like, what are you good at? That's what you think, okay, I'm spark. That's what I'm here to do. So for example, people are like, okay, I'm good at helping people, so I want to be a nurse to help people. And you're like, okay, that's your spark, that's your passion, girl. That's what you're good at. That's your life goals. So I'm like, okay, what are y'all getting at? Y'all are making it seem like that Joe's spark, which we all felt with jazz music, was really not as, I don't know, important. Because when he does end up being in his own body, and he does get back to Earth as himself, and he finally does do the jazz gig, he's still not satisfied with life. And it's like, Joe, you just did everything that you spent your whole life working on. Like, what is going on? And he was just so uninterested. He was not impressed at all. So I was just thinking to myself, like, okay, I need the lesson. So towards the end of the movie, when we find out that 22 gets her spark, we don't actually know what, and I've seen a lot of theories on that, because she's on Earth for a long period of time, and then when they do go back to the great before, we see that she has an Earth patch, but we don't know what exactly on Earth gave her that. So I felt like, I talked to people, and I felt like that, I've had a friend that said that they seen that she like talking to people a lot when she was on Earth. So when I seen that she like talking to people, I just thought, she just enjoyed being in Joe's body and like talking to people about their experience, like, let me experience Earth. But one of my friends made a good point and said that they feel like, her spark might have been, well, she got her Earth patch by, maybe one day being a therapist or something, because she loved talking about hearing people's life experiences. So I thought that was very cool. But I personally feel like that her Earth patch did come somehow within music. Although Joe was a jazz expert, he loved jazz, and that was, his mentee. And not saying that she just wanted the same life experiences as him, but there was a part in the movie where there was a man, remind you that this is in New York, so they're on the subway, and he's playing music, I think it's on his guitar, in the subway thing or whatever, and like, she's just so amazed by him. So I feel like that was the moment that she actually got her Earth patch. But fast forward to the end, he's able to be back on Earth. He gets another chance at life. And it just made me realize when he said, that he was asked, what is he going to do? And he said he's going to live every moment of his life. So it's like, yes, we have passion. Yes, we have dreams. Yes, we have goals. But we cannot minimize ourselves to just that. Your spark and how you spend every moment of life is what makes it valuable, your time here on Earth. A lot of times we just make ourselves this much, when it's really all of these life instances and these things that we are doing on our daily basis, and how we handle people that we come across on our daily basis that we probably will never see again. That is the moments that we must cherish, and that we must, put in this big bubble of our passion and things like that. So it's like, I kind of took that away from the movie, like, wow, let me stop being so hard on myself. Let me just make sure I'm living every moment of what I'm doing right now. And I'm actually taking in the experience I'm doing right now. I'm breathing through it all, and I'm enjoying it. So that way, when I do get that passion or that goal, it's even that much sweeter. So make sure y'all go check out Soul on Disney Plus. I definitely love the movie. I'll probably be watching it again, I'm sure. And I want to talk to a kid about it. Like, I really want to talk to maybe, I don't know, I'd say maybe a 10 or 11-year-old about it and see how do they feel. So be on the lookout. I might, if I can find a kid, then I will post that video. But y'all be on the lookout because I am going to be dropping 2 more videos about Power and Bridgerton. Once again, I am Olivia Lemon, the main squeeze. Stay tuned.